Welcome, everybody. Welcome back. Today we have Gerren Sprauve, who is the owner of Clean Slate. He is also a speaker and an author.
Yeah.
I would like to hear more about that. So, Gerren, welcome. Glad that you're here because I found you very interesting because not too long ago, 3 years ago, I met you at the Cleaning Cocktails.
Right.
Yes, I believe that's the first time I met you. And I don't think we spoke to each other, but you were a speaker. So I saw you and you just had some grand presence. I was like, who is this guy? I mean, you just emit some kind of energy, some kind of powerful energy. I'm like, man, who is this guy? You don't, skip a step when you're talking with your words. You're just really awesome. So I had to have you on my channel. So everybody can know who Gerren Sprauve is. I think you're pretty interesting. So I can't wait to talk to you and get to know you a little bit better.
Yeah. Let's jump in. Let's do it.
So where are you from, Gerren? What's your background?
Originally, I was born in Puerto Rico, San Juan, Puerto Rico, and then I grew up in the Virgin Islands, St. Thomas.
That's crazy. So you're in the States now, right?
Correct. I'm in Orlando, Florida.
Okay, nice. Well, it looks like Caribbean people never change. You're like in Florida, like we always go where the sun and the fun is, okay?
Yes. Although I did go to school in Maryland and I love the DC, Virginia area. Up there was really, really cool, man. So yes, I'm in Florida now, but I also love the culture of the DC area. It's pretty nice.
You know what? I've been to DC like one time before with my family just to visit because I was like a teenager. But then we saw each other again at the Cleaning and Cocktails this year in DC. So this is my first time going to DC as like an adult and actually seeing DC. And I feel what you're saying. Yeah. Like I get what you're saying. If I was never there, I would be like, DC.
Yeah. It has a nice little vibe to it.
Yeah, it does have a nice little vibe to it. Me and a friend, Carolyn, we went to a coffee shop and the vibe of the people, I mean, even people who walked in, we were all dressed in our black suits. They're like, why do you guys look so cool? And I was like, this is DC. What does cool mean?
You got to get the definition.
Yep. Exactly. Do we look like the three-letter alphabet or do we actually look cool?
Yep. Yeah, I like it, man. I like it up there. So every time I get to go and visit, like it's a treat for me, for sure.
Yeah. It was nice. It was nice. So this time you spoke at the Cleaning and Cocktails again. And again, you were very inspirational. So I was like, you know what? I need to get Gerren here so we can talk to each other, get to know each other, and let everybody get to know us too, because I think you always have something powerful to say. So I do want to start with, how did you start your cleaning business? How long ago? Why did you start a cleaning business? Like, how did that all start?
Yeah. So thank you for that question. So I started it back in 2006. And that was a period of time where between my wife and I, we were really frustrated with our current jobs. And we were trying to figure out what are we going to do next? We didn't have any kids at the time. And I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit. I grew up in a household of entrepreneurs and educators. So I love to learn, and then I love to create things with what I've learned. So my wife and I, one time we were going out for dinner one night, and again, I was really frustrated. And she was on my arm, and I saw this one guy there cleaning up the table, and he's moving things around and setting it up and so forth, but he wouldn't look up at me. So he's kind of like doing this thing like this, walking around, and then he begins to walk away. And I'm like, yo, excuse me, sir. Thank you. And he's like, did I say, why did he say thank you to me? And I said, because you didn't just clean the table, you prepared a place for my wife and I to have dinner. That means something to us. Wow. Thank you. And the dude began to smile. And he takes off to another table and he starts setting it up. And he's looking at people and he's setting it up again, and looking at people. And I just started having chills, man. And I was like, I tapped my wife and I said, I want to do that again. So the whole idea behind the cleaning industry or getting into the cleaning industry, I wanted to understand exactly how he felt. No, I didn't want to be a waiter or waitress, but for some reason, cleaning came to mind. And I said, I'm going to quit my job and become a janitor, like literally start from the ground up. And I've had some opportunities to purchase into Jan Pro or Janny King, but I was like, I want to feel it from the ground up.
That's right.
And, some of my friends, they were looking at me like, dude, like, what the hell are you doing? But for me, again, it was all about the experience. and the experience that I had. And my goal was to start from the ground up, build a company where I can pour into people just like I poured into that guy.
Yeah.
So for me, it's been about that. It hasn't been necessarily about the cleaning, but it's about being so close to the people that I can pour into them and build confidence in them and help them to like achieve their own goals and things of that nature. So even to this day, I still get a vibe doing that. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
That's awesome. So it's not even about the money, it's about the connections.
Connections. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
correct. Not until I started this business that I realized that, I mean, we are all human and we are connected, but it wasn't until then I was like, wow, I'm responsible for people and they have kids, and then you start building a relationship with these people. I mean, I have one of my ladies who's been with me from the beginning,
Mhm.
and recently she told us that a client was trying to steal her, and she
Oh,
told us the whole story and everything. And my husband appreciated so much. The next time she worked, he went over there with her with flowers just to say thank you,
yeah.
just to and we appreciate everybody on our team,
Mhm.
but we especially appreciate the ones who stay honest with us and who are loyal to us. Obviously, who doesn't want, you know?
Yeah, yeah, totally, totally. I mean, just the other day I was thinking about it. I would say about 2 days ago, I was thinking about my team, like my management team, and I was like, yo, like we've gone through some things. We're even going through some things right now, and it's like, what makes them stick around? Like what makes them sticky? And yes, I'm always all sharing. I'm always sharing thank you, like random things like thank you. Everything, every text that I send over is going to be a please and it's going to be a thank you. Email, the same thing. Please, thank you. Good morning, the whole nine. Like I respect them,
Yeah.
and I wanted to send them another text to just ask them like, yo, like why are you still here? Right? Because you're good at what you do. You could go anywhere.
Right.
But it's just to to keep me connected to them, to let them know that I appreciate them, and also for me to understand what it is in me that they see that makes them want to stay close to me, so I can continue doing that more and more for them. And so this whole thing is a journey, man. This whole business thing, it's a journey.
Oh yeah, the whole life is a journey. You
Yeah.
have to take it like that. So what kind of cleaning do you do?
Yeah, so right now we focus on commercial cleaning.
Yeah.
In the beginning, it was anything and everything, right? So
Yeah.
from residential to construction cleaning, and we still do some construction cleaning, but we do it with a strategy in mind. So if we take on a construction cleaning client, we're hoping to get in contact with the actual client. Like if the contractor brings us on, we're hoping to get in contact with the actual client so that we can gain them as a new client, right?
Right.
So since we get into the business, we can measure everything. We can see how long it takes us to do it from a construction standpoint. So we get a better idea as to what it will take for us to do it on as a general cleaning. And just understanding the building, man, preparing for them, just like that person who cleaned the table or prepared the table for my wife and I. It's like, how can we prepare this place for them? And then you want us to do it again, type of a deal. So yeah, we do it with that strategy in mind.
That's awesome. You know what I notice when I go to these conferences, when I talk to commercial cleaning people, they tend to have a specialty.
Mm,
Like doctors' offices, that's like all they do, or schools. Do you have a specialty of like one thing that you
yeah.
focus on?
So I'm glad that you asked, right? So going to those conferences where we met has been very transformative for me, and it helped me to look at things totally different, right? So many of us sometimes, we're looking for new clients, and we'll just take on new clients. But when you slow down and you look at your avatar, one, what kind of client are you trying to meet? And then you look at the kind of people that you want to communicate with, like their personalities and things of that nature. And then you start looking at the profitability of these clients. It's like, huh. So where I've been finding myself is looking more at churches as well as medical facilities,
Wow.
because they, especially so I'll go with the medical facilities first. They take pride in their locations, and because they're seeing patients, and we just went through COVID and we saw what that was like.
Oh yeah.
It's like they want it to be done well and done right. So that's one thing. Secondly, because we went through COVID and they were open most of the time, it's like, okay, how can we create a resilient type of customer base, right? So maybe that's a place where we can stay. And they say thank you a lot. And I like that word. So like,
Awesome.
let's go with them.
That means you're doing a great job.
We're doing a great job. Like there's always the ebb and flow, right?
Mm.
So a great job is a number of things, because you can clean things really well, but if you don't communicate with the client well, they may not want to have you around, you know? So we look at everything that the client is looking for to build a really good relationship. So even when we're going in and we're trying to seek them out as a new client, the question is, hey, tell me about your best vendor. And then you can see them like start thinking, then they start to smile. Okay, tell me about that. Like, what made you just smile? Well, because they do X and they do Y. And I'm like, okay, okay, all right, taking notes. So you're saying that if we provide that level of communication or that level of experience for you, like that will fit into like a really cool vendor? And they're like, yeah, I'd love to keep that going. Okay. So it's the cleaning, but give them the experience that makes them smile, you know? So we kind of like put it all together and like, give it to them.
Absolutely. That's amazing. So
Yeah.
is this the only, I hate to use the word business because business means like revenue streams, but you know how we have hobbies, things that we like to do. Is this the only thing that you do?
No, no, by far no. Some of the other things that I do, and you know, you got me here now. Like,
Because listen, when I know somebody's an entrepreneur, I'm I don't know anybody that sticks to just one thing.
yeah, I know, and you know, sometimes I look at that and I say, like, hey, like, we got to be focused, right? Because you
Mm-hmm.
don't want to be that one person that has so many things going on that you don't have enough attention to each one. And then we have our families, our children,
Tell
all
me
those kind of
about
things, and we want to be present for each and every one of them. So yeah, so I have the cleaning company going again, like you mentioned earlier. I'm an author. I'm also a speaker. I have another business back in the islands with my brother. It's a fueling company, Bunjix Energy,
Wait,
and
a fueling company?
yeah,
What is that? What is that?
I know. So okay, all right, okay. So quick segue. All right,
Okay,
so growing
quick.
up in the islands,
Uh-huh.
growing up in the islands, we grew up as I mentioned, in a business family, right? So my father, he was a marine mechanic. So we
Mm.
had a shop, and he also did repairs for boats and yachts and things of that nature. So we grew up around the smell of diesel.
Ah,
My brother and I, we grew up in that world. My brother took over the business, and he can do mechanic work, but that's not the thing that he loves. He's kind of like me. If you were talking to him, you feel like those guys are brothers, right? So
for
he
sure.
loves people and so forth. But my father, he passed away a couple of years back, and the question was like, how can we honor his legacy? Because he did a lot for the Virgin Islands, man. He helped bring down a lot of ferry boats. Like he was the guy to
Wow.
repair. And it was like, how can we still hold his name? Like, how can we honor this? So because he kept the marine industry going by being a mechanic, we were like, yo, maybe we can keep the marine industry going by selling fuel, like literally like fuel to move the boats, right?
Wow.
So my brother, doubled down, went into that wholeheartedly, and he learned the business. And we have a mobile fueling company. We have several trucks, and we're doing that thing.
Well,
So
that's amazing. This
yeah.
is more than I expected. And I think you were going to keep going.
Well, I'm gonna slow down right there. I like that. Stop right there. But yeah, I mean, it's again being an entrepreneur. You know, you want to get into a whole host of different things, and we have to remain focused, like I was mentioning in the beginning. And when you have the right partners that you can connect with, man, to help do these things, and you're doing them with purpose, though, because again, we wouldn't get into selling fuel for the sake of selling fuel, but because our father left such a legacy there in the Caribbean, it's like we wanted to honor that, so we found a way to honor it. You know,
Right.
so that's the why behind why we do what we do.
That's beautiful. And he created a legacy.
He did,
And
he
I'm
did,
sure that's exactly what he wanted. So
yeah,
that's amazing. That's what we all want, especially when we have kids to, let it pass on. And
yeah. Grab the
even if you
mantle.
don't have kids, you can pass it on.
Sure,
Create
totally.
something that is still here when you're gone.
Totally. And you know what? The fact that you mentioned that. So think about this for a second, right? So when I'm talking to my team members and I say to them, like, hey, let's put that into the system. So if we did something new or something different, I would always send a message out to my manager and it was like, hey, put that into the system, right? Put that process in. That's something new, that's something different. And I always tell them, I said, I don't want to be morbid, but if something happened to me, you guys are still like, I still want you guys to be able to run this,
Yeah.
right? You still want, I mean, if you like working here, like let's put it together so that it can still continue on without me. And that will be a really cool segue so that we can kind of like separate ourselves from our business, you know what I mean? And allow it to run without us having to always put our fingers on it. So that's a journey by itself also.
Absolutely. I want to ask you about your book because this is something that I think about writing a book just for the fun of it. I think about doing a lot of things and thinking if this is something possible for me. I
Yeah.
just, randomly think, could I own a yacht? You know what I mean?
And
Like
you could. And you
I
could.
didn't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just think. And so I think, oh man, and I think deeply a lot, because I'm one of those people. I'm really inside my head a lot, and I'm like, first of all, I just finished creating a course.
Okay.
That stuff, sitting down and writing and like focusing and putting stuff, in a package, that is hard. What made you sit down and write a book?
So I'm going to answer your question. And before I do that, though, I want to hear about that experience, right? Whether it's now or later on, I want to hear about your experience of putting together that course.
Oh
Right?
my word.
Yeah, no, yeah, all of that, all of that. Like I want all of that, right?
Okay, let's
Cool.
talk about it.
um, but as it pertains to the book, and I'm looking up at the couple copies there on the shelf.
Yeah, let's look at it. Where's the book at?
Let me
Come on
get
now.
it. Oh,
All
so
right. What's in fast track your calling.
yeah,
Woo. And then what's the smaller word say?
yeah, it says how to fuel your drive with every assignment.
And you use the word fuel.
Yeah, right. Who knew?
Putting it together.
I know, right? But the thing behind that was, so my coach. So if you don't have a business coach, I'm talking to your audience right now. Like if you don't have a business coach, like I encourage you to get one.
Right.
Mentor somebody that will help, like put up some boundaries for you or see things that you're not seeing. It's really important. So my business coach back in 2012, we were working together, and he said to me, he says, Gerren, I want you to document everything that we're doing. So we would record our calls, and I would take notes, put it in Evernote, the whole nine. And he was like, one day you're going to write a book. I was like, I have no interest in writing a book, Eric.
Right.
And he's just like, trust me, Gerren,
Mm-hmm.
one day you'll write a book. Okay, sir. So I did as he said. Again, I just took notes. And in 2016, he lost his life to cancer. He had stage 4 cancer. And shortly thereafter, I was like, I was flying. I was flying somewhere, probably going to DC. Yep. And I went through a magazine, and I saw in the magazine, I read an article, and it was really well written. And I went down to the bottom, and I saw the person's name, and I was like, let me just reach out to this person just to thank them for such a great article. As I reached out to them and thanked them, they then told me that they actually help people write books. And I was like,
Oh my word. Like a ghostwriter? Wow.
and we continued talking, and then Eric's notes, my notes started bubbling to the top, and it was like, maybe it's time for me to put this into something. So I worked with him, and we completed the book, and I launched it in just before COVID. Right.
No.
but
It's all good.
but 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 yeah, it's me. It's journaling my story, and it's
What inspired you to write it? Other than, I mean, it seems like you were kind of forced to write it, but not really. I
not
think everything is
really.
destiny.
Yeah. Like I always wanted to. So my thing, okay. So the whole idea, fast track your calling, how to fuel your drive with every assignment. Many times we find ourselves doing things like we're working, but we don't quite understand why we're working. And it goes back to that initial meeting that I had with that gentleman, right? We don't understand why we're working. We're just doing the work. And it's like there's so much more to what you're doing. And the fact that you're doing it now, the people that you're going to interact with, like where you're trying to go, like the world is sending you all this really cool information. You don't look at it that way because you're just like, it's just a cloth. I'm wiping tables down. But who are you wiping tables down for? When you walk into that space, what's on the wall? What's on the shelf? Like, what are you seeing around your space of work that can help you get to where you want to be. So you were talking about one day I want to have a boat. You're talking to somebody who's fueling up boats. Like, you just don't know,
You
right?
never know.
The world is always talking to us. And for me, people are always asking, like, what's my purpose in life? What's my calling? I don't know what it is. Well, are you paying attention to what's going on around you?
Mm.
And if you did, what are you seeing? Right? So it's kind of like helping people to take a step back and look at life and see how it's gifting itself to you to take you to exactly where you want to go. So that's the fast part of it. And when I talk about how to fuel your drive with every assignment, everywhere you go, every conversation you have, every new account you pick up, there's something there for you. It's not just the money. Yes, the money's going to be good. Yeah. But there's something else for you. Are you paying attention? So I just want people to, I've shown people how I paid attention through my initial journey, where I'm at right now, and I chronicle that in the book, and I gift it to people. That's it.
That's awesome. Why do you think it's so important for us to find our calling? You were saying some people are just picking up the cloth and just wiping down the table. Why are
Yeah.
they? But a lot of people don't turn it on. And honestly, it takes some time. You know, I grew up in a certain type of way. Most of, like, we all were kind of like institutionalized.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah, I
mean,
know what you mean.
church, school,
Yeah,
you have a certain way that you're supposed to live,
yeah,
and we don't think about our callings at all, almost ever.
yeah.
Usually until something bad happens in our life and we kind of feel like we have to shift and change.
No.
But why is it important for us to even, put this on the forefront? Why is this
Yeah,
topic important for you to share with
yeah,
other people?
yeah. So I pay attention to what people are complaining about, right? And a lot of people are oftentimes complaining about they don't know what to do with their lives, and sometimes you'll see parents getting down on their kids who are in their early 20s,
Mm.
saying like, "You haven't figured it out yet, like, get a job." And they are in their 40s and 50s and still haven't figured out what they want to do in their life,
Right.
So it's an honest dialogue, it's an honest conversation that we can have with ourselves or with others. And for me, I'm paying attention and I'm hearing of kids who are committing suicide or just depressed. They don't know what it is they want to do, and it's like, yo, life is like it's given to you, and you're young right now, so like don't beat yourself up so much. Like, give yourself some grace,
Yes.
but just start paying attention, right? Because I don't want you to turn, to your 30s, 40s, 50s, and then like, I wish I had, or life never gave to me, and it actually did.
Yes.
Pay attention, man. So I'm sharing this whole concept even with my 9 and 10-year-old right now. I got two daughters, and I'm as I hear their drama, things that they're dealing with at school, I hold on to it and I'm like, baby, like this is good for you. Not good for you because it doesn't feel good, right? But this is helping you to get in some reps early. And if you can start paying attention to the reps that you're putting in and you're seeing what's going on in the world, by the time you're 18, 19, 20, you'll have a better grasp as to what it is you want to do. It may not be the final thing, but for right now, on this assignment, here's what I'm supposed to learn. And it makes you be more fulfilled today, right? I think we lose the fact that life is gifting to us like right now. Yes, I might have a bill and I got a list of them on my board, but when I take a deep breath and I pay attention to the fact, like, okay, my mother-in-law is here, my wife's here, my kids are at school, they're able to get to school safely. I'm on a call with you. Like, life is good right now.
Yeah,
I can appreciate that. So that's what I want people to
absolutely.
do, man. Appreciate life right now.
Absolutely. So, what do you think some of the common misconceptions people find when they're trying to find their calling?
Oh my God. So a lot of times people think it's about money, right? That's a
Mm.
huge one. And I've been in a room where, okay, a month ago, I was in a room with some highly successful individuals, right? And shortly after you and I met in DC, and when I asked them the question, like, "Hey, how you doing?" "Oh, Garen, things are fine, man. The business is going well. We're doing this. We're doing this. We're going to be expanding." I let them talk, 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 talk. I hear you. Just talk to me, like, "How you doing?" "Phew.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Garen, and then they start talking, and it's like, there we go. Like, that's the truth. Heard about one guy who had throat cancer, another person who is like $23,000 they're still, they have a payroll of like $23,000, but the money hasn't come in yet. You start hearing the true stories, and it's like, okay, so what are you learning in all of this? Like, how are you feeling as you go through this? And you hear a totally different dialogue. And it's like, that's the truth. Like, that's right there. So there's something that you want, that life is giving you this opportunity to practice, to train, to work through those emotions so that it can gift you what it is you're looking for.
Right.
Like, let's go on that journey versus talking to me about the millions in the bank or the millions that your company's like. If you died tomorrow, like that really wouldn't matter,
Yeah.
So let's talk about things that really matter. So that's the one misconception, that people think like, when I get this big time job or I'm making this kind of money, I'm in my calling, and it's not really just about that.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is absolutely true.
Tell me
Because
why you say that. Why you say that?
you meet a lot of people who the first thing you think is money. I mean, obviously, because that's what our lives are kind of like based around, and we don't focus on ourselves, looking inside instead of we're always looking outside, and we're always trying to reach.
Yeah.
Some of us are not trying to reach, you know what I'm saying? Some of us are not trying to reach. I'm upset about those people. But
Yeah.
some of us are trying to reach, and it just makes sense that things are deeper than what they really are. Everything is just a little bit deeper. This is one thing that I learned along my journey.
Mm.
Even like a bad attitude or whatever is going on, everything is a little bit deeper than what we just see on the surface.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's true. I made a quick little video about meeting one of our new team members uh last night, and in interacting with that individual, they weren't wearing their uniform, and they said what they said about it, and I told them, I said, it's okay, like, don't worry, we can work through the whole uniform situation. Tell me what's going on, and the lady said, I asked her, like, what do you want to become, like how do you even find you? And this individual used to work at Sam Ash, like the music company where you can buy guitars and stuff like that. And they talked about the experience there, and she said, I love music, I love the arts, I want to make a video and stuff like that. And I said, okay. And she's like, but I don't want to take what little money I have in my bank account to do that. And I said, okay, like, why? Oh, it's just going to cost so much. I said, do you know that before I came inside this facility, I was in my truck for like 5 minutes just scrolling through TikTok, like, just for kicks. I just wanted to see something before I walked in to begin meeting with you guys. And I said, like, that's a free platform. Like, you could just literally pull out your phone and take. And then she was like, yeah, she pulled out her phone. She's just like, but I have 2% left on my phone, and I want to keep it just to make sure I can make it through the night. I said, so hold on, let me go out into my truck and get you one of my
That's right.
portable chargers, right? Connect it up so you don't have any other excuses. So what else? And she's just like, it's a long story, sir. I said, there we go. Okay. I said, and we could talk about the long story if you want to at some
Yeah.
point, right? But at least you now know that there's something else. She's like, I know it's me. And I said, it's probably something you're going through, not necessarily you. So if you want to talk about it at some point, we could do that, right? But the excuses that you're giving that's holding you back, like, let's put that aside for now. So me just having that opportunity to interact with that person, give them the confidence of battery power in their phone, give them the confidence, like, I could pull out my phone and make a video, the video that I've always wanted to make. You have a free platform. You don't have to use the money in your bank account. Like, it's releasing them to be who they want to be. So even if they quit tomorrow, which I hope they don't do, that moment that I had with them, did I make it worthwhile? You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's me feeling like I'm living out my calling in every assignment.
It sounds
It's,
like you're trying to break a lot of people's limiting beliefs,
yeah,
because that's exactly what it's keeping us in prison.
yeah,
For sure. I mean, even me, I have a lot of limiting beliefs, and I'm like, well, okay, well, how do we get past it? But you have to stop, and you have to think, and you have to be with yourself to think, okay, why do I believe this, and how do I get past it?
yeah, 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 totally. And we could get caught up into thinking, like, because I have limiting beliefs also, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I may have been released from some
Yeah,
just ahead of you, and
true.
you're busy there looking to figure out, like, how can I get out of this rut that I'm in? And if I'm just 2 miles ahead, and I could share with you some information to release you, even as I'm looking 2 miles ahead for the other friend that's going to help release me of something, like we're all on this thing together, man. My coach used to say, like, you need to help your fellow man to shore, Gerren. And he was an older white guy from Salt Lake City, Utah, right? And he would say, who would have thought an old white man from Salt Lake City, Utah would be friends with a young black man from the Virgin Islands? That's just how life is,
Yeah.
right? And he would say to me, Gerren, I can't reach your community. Like, I don't believe I can reach your community. But if you promise to share with your community the things that we talk about, I will give to you everything that I have.
Wow.
And I made a promise. So he gave me books upon books and some of his old business. All like he gave me so much stuff, man. So many resources and tools to use. And I do use them and share them as much as I can. So again, you give me the opportunity to talk about it is another way of me sharing or fulfilling the promise that I made to him several years back.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Look at all these fulfilling promises.
Right.
Every
Right.
time I see somebody who says, I made, I'm fulfilling somebody's promise or whatever, I'm like, man, they always come out successful because it seems like you have some kind of duty.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what would you say to people who feel like, their time has passed, like it's too late to find their calling? Is it too late?
No, no. The awareness is where it's at, right? So I hired a guy who was, I think he was like 72, 73 years old. Man was on dialysis. He worked so many businesses or so many jobs in his past and so forth, but he wanted to give to the world. So I went down to my local janitorial store. I was having a rough day. And I left the janitorial store. I just picked up some products. I left the janitorial store and something said, go in and ask for help. I wanted to put the boxes in the back of the truck. And I walked back like begrudgingly and I stuck my head in and I'm like, I need help. And the lady, her name is Elise. She's like, what? What did you say, Gerren? I was like, I need help. And I told her, and she's like, would you know that last week a gentleman walked in here and he says, do you know any businesses, janitorial businesses that need help? Like, if you do, send them my way. They gave me the number.
Wow.
It was on a Saturday morning. I called the guy Saturday afternoon, shared it with him. He started grilling me like, do you know this? Do you know this? And I was like, I don't know. I couldn't answer his questions. It was some financial questions. I don't know, but I was being honest with him. And he's like, well, I think I can help you. And I was like, well, what would it take? Gave me a number. I was like, when can you start? And he's like, we can start on Monday. I was like, well, let's go. So he came in at his age of 72, 73, and he started giving to my team, giving to me, helping us to look at things differently, giving us formulas that we can use, the whole nine, man. So even at his age, he was still giving to the world, right? So as long as we're breathing, we can give. So it's just a matter of us staying open, man, to the opportunities. And with him going in there and saying, I'm willing to help, and me getting that word to go in and ask for help and being obedient to that, came together. We started working together for several months, and he helped position us differently. So we can always live out our calling. Always.
That's awesome. That's awesome. 70 something. Well, that's amazing.
Another old white man. hey, I don't know. I don't know if it's like I'm attracted to these guys, like this is how it works. But if I can be the old black guy that can help somebody at some point, yo, I'm down for it.
That's awesome. What kind of advice would you give somebody? Like, what would be like the first step to finding your calling? What do you think the first step would be to finding your calling?
Right. Okay. So in the book,
okay,
I have this thing called the 5-turn fast track framework. It starts with setting a goal, right? But you always hear that, set a goal and so forth, right? Okay. Ever since I've written the book and until now, things have changed for me, right? And I have learned to look at life differently and look at opportunities differently. So I'll share with you what I'm doing now, right? The book is still applicable to someone, but I want to share with you what I'm doing now because it has transformed the way that I look at life. All right. Every day that I start the day, I ask myself 3 questions. And before I even tell you what the 3 questions are, I want you to think about life like this. So you wake up, you have an agenda, you have your calendar, you know what you're going to do or what you intend to do. And then life comes and it throws you off course and you're like what? I got all these things to do. I got to do them so I can reach my goal, yada, yada, yada. But again, like I mentioned earlier, like life is gifting to you. So what I do is I ask myself 3 questions. I say, and I believe in God, right? So
Yes.
whoever you believe in, that's on you, right? But these are the 3 questions that I ask. I say, who am I supposed to meet today? What am I supposed to learn? And what am I supposed to share? Because I don't know what life is going to send my way, I need to remain open. If I just stick to my calendar, yes, I will get things done. But there's something else that's happening either in me or going to happen in me or through me that I need to be prepared for. And if I just stick to my calendar, I won't see the opportunities.
Right.
So when I ask myself the question, who am I supposed to meet today? I put myself into a state of openness, awareness. I'm looking at everything, right? Everything that comes in, anyone that brushes by, it's like, pay attention, Gerren. And then as I go through that, if somebody does, come up to me or they ask a question or they want to talk, I may whisper to myself, like, what am I supposed to learn out of this? So it keeps my ears open. I'm not just quick to respond or quick to talk.
Yeah.
I'm listening. So I receive what this person is sharing with me, what's going on around, like who I'm coming in contact with. Like I'm paying attention, man. It's like this heightened sense of awareness. And before I open my mouth, it's like, what am I supposed to share? Even before we got on this call, I was like, God, like, yo, what am I supposed to share?
Yeah. Ask them.
Right? There's an audience out there. They're going to be tuning in for whatever reason they're tuning in for. And like, if they gave your podcast, your platform, the attention to say, like, I'm going to sit here and watch this, like, what am I supposed to share that will help that person? I mean, some other random person and some other random person. Like, what can we share together that can help that individual? That's not about us.
That's
So
right.
all of this, those 3 questions takes the ownership from me. Like it's about the world.
Yeah.
So I don't have the weight of having to be perfect, having to have it all figured out. It's just like, yo, there's something cool about life now. And I get to experience it like a movie, right? Like nobody wants to go to a movie and you know exactly what's going to happen. You want to go on the plot twists up and down. And that's what life is doing for us. So it's like when you ask yourself those 3 questions, who am I supposed to meet? What am I supposed to learn first, right? And then what am I supposed to share? Man, life moves fast, like
That's
fast,
awesome.
fast.
That's awesome. And you know what? Now that you say that, you do that. When I met you, I think I met you the first time. I think I spoke to you a little bit.
Yeah,
But this time, I mean, it's closer, so I remember.
right. Remember? Yeah,
But you do pay attention.
yeah,
You pay attention when people are speaking. You're very thoughtful, and then you are very thoughtful in what you say afterward. You're very real, but
yeah.
you're very thoughtful in what you say. That's a talent. That is a superpower.
Yo. So again, going back to that calling thing, right? So if it can help somebody else, like why not, man? Share it, right? Because it's been working well for me. It's been working really well for me.
That's awesome. It
Yeah,
does
yeah.
it does work well. It does work well for you. You seem to be going places. Who knows? I think we're going to be seeing Gerren all over the place.
Some things are
Gerren,
happening. Some things are happening already.
you are mighty, Gerren. You are mighty. And even if we don't see it from you, I'm sure we're going to see it from your kids. I mean, we're going to see something
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
Totally.
Yeah. So where can we find you on the internet, Gerren?
Yeah, right. So anywhere. I'm working on my site. You know how you always hear people say, "Oh, I'm working on my site." So I had it up, but then things changed, so it's down now, and I'm bringing it back up again. But the beauty of being online is like you could YouTube somebody, LinkedIn somebody, like they're there. Google their names, they're there. The book, Fast Track Your Calling, you can find it on Amazon for sure. If you LinkedIn me, you can connect that way. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, just with my name, nothing fancy, right?
That's
You can just
right.
find me, my name, right?
I mean,
So
you have a very unique name. I don't think anybody has the same name out
yeah, no, they don't. But yeah, so those are some easy ways, and then eventually I'll start figuring out. I'm going to share how people can like get to me directly, right? Because I'm doing some things, man. I'm doing some coaching, I'm doing some masterminds. Like I mentioned, I'm doing some speaking engagements here and there. I'm working on some other projects back in the islands. I'm staying busy
You have
But
another book coming out too, don't you?
I'm working on another book. Yeah. And that, oh man, that's, oh, okay, okay. I'll tell you something about that. So I told you just a couple months or a couple weeks ago, I was in a space with some highly successful individuals. I go there and Evan Carmichael was there. Actually, I was sitting next to him. You know Evan Carmichael?
Wait a minute.
Like,
I've
like
heard
the
his name before.
oh yeah, the guy Believe. Like you go anything on YouTube, you just
I
believe.
know who he is. He's still on Clubhouse, by the way.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I guess he's still everywhere. Okay. All right.
I didn't hear about him until Clubhouse. He does like this Clubhouse room. I think I heard about him the first time he was doing this room, and he has this YouTube with only Tony Robbins.
All kinds of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, I like this the compilation of Tony
Yeah.
Robbins' different speech, and so
Oh,
that's when I heard about his name. That's the first time I didn't know he was.
really? Yo,
Yeah.
dude is solid cat, man.
Wow.
Oh, and he challenged me to something, right? But his business partner, we're having this meeting. The end of the day, I'm like, I think I'm supposed to meet you, is what I say to his business partner. She comes over, we sit down and we begin to talk. And she begins asking me questions, some deep questions. And I'm like, Gerren, just go with this, right? Because again, who am I supposed to meet? What am I supposed to learn? What am I supposed to share? So I sit there and she's like, close your eyes and I want you to take some deep breaths. So we went through that process. She had me stretch my arms open wide and went through the process. And she was like, is it okay if I come over and just put my hand on your chest? I'm like, it's fine. It's the first time I'm meeting this lady, right?
This a business meeting?
It's a meeting of business people, entrepreneurs, yes.
And y'all
right?
doing some breath
But
work?
right, but it has all of that because there are people there who do breath work, right? So really cool spot out there in Arizona. We go through the process. I begin to cry, and I'm just like, oh. Part of me is like, don't be a punk. You don't know this person. Suck it up. But then again, staying true to what am I supposed to learn? What am I supposed to share?
That's awesome.
So I go through the process. She makes me stand up and she's like, I want you to feel like you're like a light is above your head and it's passing right through your body. I've never really done this kind of stuff before, but I'm like, I'm open to it. Once it's nothing satanic, I'm open to it, right? So I'm going through the process and I am feeling all sorts of emotions coming up in me, out of me. So she's like, let's go into another room. I want you to lay and get grounded. So we go down on the ground on my knees and she's like, get grounded to the ground, Gerren. I'm doing what she's saying and I'm feeling like some crazy emotion. Then she says, I want you to go flat on the ground and stretch your arms out as wide as you can. So my chest is like open. My chest is fully on the ground and I'm just open. And she's having me do this breath work, man. And I'm doing it and I start to snotty nose cry. I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Yes.
But there's all of this stuff that's coming out of me. And then she's talking to me and she's like, now, Gerren, we want to write a book from the depths of you, like from down there, not this topical transactional stuff, like there, Gerren. And I'm just like, okay, we write it. And she's like, don't hold it back. I just want you to just write what comes to you, what passes through you. And I'm like, and I made a decision. I was like, yo, we're gonna do this because there's something there, that we cover, that we close, we're trying to protect ourselves from whatever it is. And she's like, no, we're gonna let that out. You're gonna do it from that place. And if you ever get transactional, I'm gonna call you out on it. We're going back to this process to get you deep again. So I'm sweating there thinking about it, man. But it's some cool stuff. So
No, that is real. That is real. Like a couple of weeks ago, I did one interview with my energy healer, Master Tatiana, and we did that kind of stuff. The whole electricity, and I'm just like you. I do have a very strong masculine energy that I have. I mean, we are all feminine and masculine, every human, but I do operate a lot in my masculine. I mean, I do operate a business, but I when you said I don't want to be no punk, I am exactly like that. I don't like to be emotional. I think it's like horrible, to even cry in front of people. Like for me, it's like the end of the world. So, I know what you mean. It's like, oh no. I saw her when I was in New York at the end of last year. I was like, please don't. I'm coming in here. I came to say hi.
Don't talk to me.
Do not make me cry.
I know. Ah, but then, I mean, that lets you know that there's more to you, man. There's depth to you, right?
Yeah.
Even more depth. And if we can touch that, like that's where the soul of us is, man. So going back to the whole thing about calling, a lot of us are just looking at the topical layer. Like, yeah, it must be this, it must be that, but there's so much more to us, man. And if we could just go that deep, it reveals so much. So I am on that journey, that personal journey. So I'm an experiencer and an experiential learner. So in the same way that I quit my job and became a janitor to understand, if I'm talking about calling stuff, I got to be willing to go, you know? So I'm allowing myself to go down that journey and then birth whatever is supposed to come out of me. All of this coming from janitorial and cleaning.
Yeah. But
It's crazy.
I mean, I'm not trying to get all woo-woo, but cleaning does something to you.
Sure.
It really does. When I remember when I started my cleaning business and I would have like a bad day. I would be having a bad day. You know,
Yeah.
especially when you're running everything by yourself and you don't even have time, you don't even have money. You know, a lot of times I didn't have money, so I was working a lot and I was hoping to find an egg in the refrigerator from the Airbnbs, you know?
Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's a lot, but when after you're done cleaning, it's almost like you cleaned your soul. It really is a thing. It really is a thing. There is a correlation. I can't tell you what it is right now. Maybe, you know, in a new video one day, I'll figure it out what that is. But even when you clean up your own house, you know, there's some kind of pride and cleanliness to it. And
Totally.
that's important. It cleans
Totally.
your energy too.
Totally, totally, totally. And you know, I revealed this when I met with the group the other day. I told them I realized that part of why I've gotten into cleaning, and I say in the book, I said I found my calling in the toilet bowl. Um, I felt like shit, like
Damn.
on the inside.
What's in the toilet bowl?
You see what I'm saying? But because I went to therapy, and if you haven't gone to therapy or any, you know, your audience out there doesn't believe, like that stuff works, right?
Yeah.
But in going to therapy, I was able to peel back some layers of things in my youth that I had covered up with all kinds of other crap, man, and I just wasn't letting it out. I wasn't letting it breathe. But when I realized, like at that moment, I didn't feel as though I was good. And being a janitor, like, and my company's name is Clean Slate,
Mm.
which is like a new birth, right? Like I don't even know how I came up with the name. I can't remember, right? But
Wow.
all of these things are like coming to me like, yo, you were feeling like crap and you just wanted to be born again, like just to start over. And cleaning toilets, man, like
Yep.
that's helped me to like you ain't gonna make me cry today, right? But just being in that space of the solitude, the silence of a building all alone at night when you're starting out, man, like yo, that really, really helped me, man. And
Yes.
things are just coming to me now as I open up myself to sit in those emotions. Like it's totally different now. Yeah.
No, that's a real thing because there are a lot of people who want to start cleaning businesses and they don't want to clean. For me,
Mm.
that's like, oh my God, how are you going to get anywhere if you don't do the step?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, I mean, I understand you want to run a business. This is not the business to run if you don't want to do it. This is not the one,
Because
you
you're gonna
know?
find yourself out there cleaning. Okay. All right. Okay. Mess around.
This is the truth. You're gonna go find yourself, you know, eventually getting out there. I mean, if you care anything about the success of this business,
Yeah, yeah, it's
yeah,
real.
you got to do it. You got to do it, and it's a process. You got to, and like you said, there are some revelations that you have to come up with on your own,
Mm.
as especially as a business owner, as an entrepreneur. If you're an entrepreneur, if you want to be a business owner, go get a Chick-fil-A or something. You know what I'm saying? But if you want to be an entrepreneur, you definitely deeply got to look into yourself to get to the next level.
Totally, totally, 100%, 100%.
For real, even the ones that you think that are who are billionaires, nah, they too have to deeply go inside themselves and find their courage
Yeah.
so that they can get to the next level. The more levels you move up in life and in business, the more I think far away people get, which
Mm.
is unfortunate because
Mm.
we didn't go through it together, so you don't understand the journey. It's not about just having money and now I'm this new person. I'm not going to say I don't care about money because I want more money to
Yeah,
come to me. So I do
totally,
care about it.
totally.
Money
Yeah.
come back to my pocket.
Back to our pocket.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know. It's not what she thinks that I think it is.
Yeah.
You know, for me, money is freedom. Money is doing what I want. Look at me. It's Friday morning and I'm over here interviewing you for my YouTube. This is awesome.
Yeah,
You
right?
know,
It
this is
is.
awesome. This is freedom.
But let's not forget all that you've gone through to even get to this Friday. You see how your face just changed, like just like that? Yeah, that's some real
Exactly.
stuff, man.
For real.
Oh my God.
And some people are not even willing to go through that
Right, right,
to even feel it. Come on, y'all.
right, right.
Life
Oh,
is about progression.
ooh, and talk about that. So one thing, just being transparent here. So when I started to feel what I was going through on this journey, I started making some really unhealthy choices, man. Like I was doing some dumb stuff, right?
Oh, I'm still doing some dumb stuff.
Right. So when I realized that what I was looking for was I needed some place to escape to that was going to be healthy, and it wasn't me, the person, making dumb decisions. I was like, oh, okay, okay. So if I find a hobby or something that I could like express myself healthy through, like it'll give me the ease that I'm looking for. Because all it was like I needed tension relief,
Right.
like stress, man. You know, but I carried the weight of my decisions being like, that's you, Gerren. You're so dumb, like you're stupid. Like, what the hell are you doing? And just talking like that to myself late at night while cleaning toilets, like that wasn't healthy at all, dog.
No.
So I was beating myself up, my best friend beating me up, and I'm accepting that. Like that was crazy. So learning that having good friends,
Yes.
having a hobby, like something that's not like I'm looking at my kids or I'm taking care of my kids. No, like a hobby that you just do by yourself.
Yeah.
Man, it just levels out the stress in a way that like I could deal with this. Like, okay. I have tools now. I can use them. So to your point, man, yo, that journey that we're on is real. And I encourage people to find hobbies amidst the journey. You will need
Right.
it. Otherwise,
Right.
yourself in trouble, man.
And we need mental strength. You
Yes.
know, I think universally we're a little bit mentally weak, but we need the mental strength to move forward. That's what we need. You know,
Yeah.
even like you said, you have the friend and then you have you. I have that all the time. Like, I hate when I'm bringing myself down in my own head and then you have people around you kind of confirming it. It's like your ego on the outside. It's like, man, I'm already fighting myself on the inside. Now I got to fight you on the outside. Like, I don't need all of this. But but the only person who is going to move the needle is you.
Yes.
Nobody else, nobody is going to move it for you. So it doesn't even matter what other people are saying. You really have to fight for yourself. I mean, I was married before. I mean, I'm married now, but I was married once before, and the dude wasn't supportive at all. And if anything, he was trying to bring me down. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to let this happen. This is my future. This is my life. Yes, I'm married, but just because I'm married doesn't mean that I'm going to disappear and now be somebody else's, I don't know, what, puppet or just, you know, decoration. That's what I call it, a decoration. I call myself a decoration. I'm not just a decoration. Like, I'm here to live my life
I got
too.
goals too. Yeah.
Exactly. So, you know, then I mean, it obviously eventually got a divorce, but even in the marriage, I'm like, man, F you. I'm gonna get somewhere whether you like it or not. So if this is gonna move forward together or move forward separately, yeah, you know, divorcing and all that sucks. I don't care what anybody thinks. It sucks, you know, but and you don't want to go through that. Like you don't want to go through all of those. It's like it's not like our lives are already hard enough, and then you got to go through something else hard, trying to build a business, and you don't have support. Like, what's worse? You know, what's worse? Staying in the relationship and not being successful, or doing your thing and you attracting what you want? You know, you will attract it. It will come to you.
I'm listening to you, man. I'm listening to you. Like,
I'm a living testament.
no, it's real. It's real. And for whomever's out there that's listening, like it's real.
Yes.
Like what you just shared is real, man.
Yes.
And it's a place where I just have to be silent and listen. So even as you're speaking, you know, again, those unhealthy decisions, man, could have sent me down that road of divorce also. And when my wife was like my number one supporter in the beginning, right? She was one on my arm when the whole revelation occurred. And then I told her I want to do it. And she's like, go for it. You know what I mean? So, so being aware, man, this whole journey, man, this whole thing, it's not about just getting money in your pocket. It's a journey that you're on. It's a choose your character, right? Like you're going to go on a hell of a journey. And you got to think about who do you want to become, right? And that's one thing that I tell people. Sometimes my friends say, like, telling people who are just getting into business, like that's a tough question, but it's a true question. Who do you want to become before you say, let's go on this journey? Because you are going on. And if you mess around and aren't clear as to who you want to become so that you can allow what's happening to like for you to like go on that journey, you're gonna be fighting yourself the entire way. And then you're gonna either quit, you're gonna find yourself depressed, stressed out, heart problems, strokes. Like, yo,
all that stuff is energetic.
Man.
A lot of it is energetic. It's not just the food you eat and all that stuff. A lot of that stuff is energetic.
So again, now we're going on a whole different road, but it's holistic. It's like all part of the journey. It's all part of the journey. So hopefully somebody gets a nugget that they can run with.
Absolutely. And I have one final question for you.
Sure.
If you had your own comic book series, who would you be and what would be your superpower?
So it would be Green Lantern, right? I love Green Lantern, and nobody talks about him enough.
I don't know that much about Green Lantern other than like the Big Bang Theory, and one of them really likes Green Lantern.
So I'm gonna let you look it up yourself.
Right? Okay.
Because nobody talks about Green Lantern. That's my guy. And
it sounds nerdy if it was in the Big Bang Theory.
I'm gonna let you look it up on your own.
Okay.
And I love my superpower that I have right now.
What is your superpower?
I build rapport fast.
Yeah, you do. That's not a lie. That's not a lie.
Fast.
Straight up.
Like, let's go. Like, and you know what? If I was to ever have to be like, it would kill me if I had to get a job where I was like, I had to make like sales numbers, like I had to work. I don't like that. I love building rapport with people deeply, fast. And I create a safe space for us to connect because I share myself too, right? So it's not like you're just vomiting on the table and I'm taking that and like sharing it. I'm going to protect what you share, as I hope you protect what we share. But even if you don't, I'm okay. Like, that's my thing. Like, I'm here for you, right? Yeah. Right off the bat. So if I met anybody else new, just like how we met the first time, like, look at us, we're kicking it like shit. Like, we've been here forever.
I know.
Like, that's me. Like, let's talk, let's go. And oh, by the way, I need to tell everybody in your audience this before we get out of here. So what you did in DC. Yes. So after we had an event in DC, right? This young lady, as everybody's getting ready to go back to their hotels and to their spaces, she's like, anybody want to go out for dinner for karaoke night? I'm like, karaoke? Like, what? And she's like, let's go, let's find a spot. She pulls out her phone. She's going at it. People haven't even signed up yet to say like we're willing to go. But she's like, I can find a spot. You want to go? You want to go? And I'm like, I'm gonna go home. And she's like, Gerren, let's exchange numbers, right? Because just in case. And I went all the way home to Virginia. Like,
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe you was not coming.
Yeah, I was like, I'm tired, man. Like, I got things to work on the following day. I was like, But as I walked into my house, my cousin's house in Virginia, I pulled out my phone. I looked at your text again. And I was like, man, let's go. Turned around, drove back, showed up at the karaoke spot, and this young lady got like 40 people in there that she corralled to go to this spot. And we had an awesome time.
It was epic. It was epic. I had the best time ever.
No, but to see how you were able to corral or coalesce all of us, all these random folks together to go and have dinner together, sing together, like hang out. Yo, like that's some cool stuff, man. And I loved it. I'm glad that you were so persistent.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that I responded and Kane, man, like you're awesome. You're awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. And you know, I always challenge myself. I have like little challenges for myself all the time. So that was actually a challenge for myself because of course, my girl Carolyn was there. So of course I want to go out after that. And the night before, nobody did anything. And everywhere I go, we need to have a good time.
Something.
Straight up. Straight up. Even if I go have a good time by myself, I need to have, this is life. We need to enjoy it. We can't be so serious all the time, you know? And the cool thing about cleaning people, the cleaning biz people, no matter what you look like, you know how to have fun. Because you know how to go in the trenches.
Right?
Yeah.
Like that's that common denominator that like you ain't got no ego. You can't be all let's go.
That is a common denominator. And I was really testing out my theory too. I was like, because of course I'm gonna invite the people I was already talking to, like around, but there's a lot of people I didn't even notice or see and never spoke to. But I was like, I don't, as much as people think I'm an extrovert and I like to talk, I'm really an introvert and I really like to stay to myself. But I was like, I wonder if I asked this person if they would come. Honestly, I don't want to hear a no. I really don't want to be rejected right now. But at the same time, what if this opens a new door for them? So I cannot think about myself. That's one way I get out too. Is like I think outside instead of inside. The more I stay inside myself, the more I'm not going to do anything. That's just how it's going to work. But I'm like, okay, well, let me ask this random person. And I was like, we're going to go to karaoke. Would you like to join? Yeah, maybe. Some people were like, yeah, maybe and I wanted them to come. So I was like, okay, well, we're going to meet over there at, 8:45, like be ready. And then everybody, so almost everybody I invited were like, yeah, I'll come. And I was like, what? Because I had called and I told them there's only going to be 10 people. And there was not even 10 people. I thought that was as much people I was going to get. You see my limiting beliefs? I'm like, can we reserve for 10 people? And then I go around, start asking everybody. And I'm like, man, this is a little bit more than 10. But let me keep asking. Because who knows? I think things happen when they're supposed to happen.
Totally.
And I don't even know if this venue can hold all of us. Who knows what they're doing? I think it was a Wednesday night or a Thursday night. Maybe they're busy, maybe they're not. I have no idea, but I'm about to invite like 30, 40 people to this event. So be ready for us. So that was awesome.
So your push, you're being so courageous in the moment, being at an entrepreneurship like a event, right? So you're there from cleaning, right? You're going on this journey of being courageous. I'm an introvert, but damn it, I'm going to get people out. And you were persistent. All of a sudden, let's think about the waiters and the waitresses that served us that night.
We overwhelmed them, but it's okay.
They could have been having a slow night too.
Right. But did you know what happened at the end of the night?
No. Well,
who paid the bill?
Shoot, that's right.
Can you believe that?
Right.
So a couple of people that I invited, I think it was just 3 people. Because, a lot of us be making bank in this business. And they split the bill. Just 3 people for all of us.
Everybody.
And we were so worried towards the end of the night. We were like, oh, how are we going to split this bill? Because they wanted us to split it. We could only split it like in groups of 6 or something like that. I couldn't remember what it was, but it was some difficult task. And we were like, man, how are we going to do this? Nobody has cash. How are we going to? And then all of a sudden, thanks everybody. These folks already paid. You can get out. I was like,
right?
It was extra epic.
Oh, I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, life is gifting to us all the time. All the time.
Straight up. That was amazing.
You probably helped the waiters and the waitresses. Those individuals who probably didn't even speak to all of us, but they just like, I got you. Like, yo, man. I don't want to talk anymore.
Even the MC, I thought he was having a great time. He was like the cleaning and cocktails people. And we were so lit. We're all lit. Every one of us, we're just out buzzing, just buzzing.
Going
had a great time. I wish we could do that all the time.
Listen, thank you, right? Again, I love that word. I'm going to say thank you for even doing what you did and being persistent. I would have hated to see the pictures and I'm not in it. Like,
yes.
Gerren, stop it. So I'm glad. Like everything that you did, the whole event, man, Cleaning and Cocktails is just friggin' awesome. It brings us together. It's awesome.
We need more of those.
Totally.
By the
So,
way, CBN is having one in
oh,
June 29th and June 30th. AJ
okay.
Simmons.
Yeah.
We're gonna
I'll
be
pay
out
attention.
there. So I'm gonna be, listen, I'm sure, but AJ, he already got his thing together. I mean, he already got parties happening. So I don't need to work over there. I'm just gonna
You just need
enjoy.
to show up.
I'll just be
That's
guessing
it.
on the table like I
That's it.
normally
That's
do.
it. It's awesome. I love it. I love it. I love it.
It is awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you, Gerren, for being
No,
here and dropping your knowledge to us.
love it.
Everybody get Gerren's book, The Fast Track to
Fast track your
Fast
calling.
Track to Your Calling. I love that. I love that title.
Yeah.
And we all need to find our calling. This is our duty.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
our duty. All right. Thank you. Thank you for being here. I'll see you at the next event.
For sure. For sure.
Or on my next channel, on my next episode.
We'll do it.
All right.
All right, buddy.
Bye.